As many of you know, I was going crazy before Christmas wanting this Ember heated coffee mug. And I eventually got it. And I just want to do a quick update and let you know my thoughts on this $150 to $200 coffee mug. First is that they have solved some of the problems. One of them being that you can have your coffee hot all day long and not have to worry about running back and forth to the microwave to keep heating it up. They've also solved the leak-proof top, which is pretty well designed. The only problem is, well, we'll get to the problems here in just a minute. But that's about all they've done. They've left some very, very, very important issues unanswered. One of them being the fact that it will not charge while it's heating. So if you're like me and you decide you want to take this Ember mug with you in the car for half an hour, 45 minutes, it'll keep the coffee at whatever temperature you want. Right now, my perfect temperature is 138 degrees. It'll keep it at 138 degrees for you while you're in the car. The problem is that, of course, keeping it at 138 degrees means that it has to, use the battery. So when you get home, let's say half hour, 45 minutes later, and you come in and you put it on your charging pad, which is wireless, by the way. It's got these little brass rings on the bottom, and I can tell you right now that those brass rings are the reason why this whole thing on the bottom is the reason why you can't put it in the dishwasher to clean it. You got to hand wash it, which is another issue that I can see being a problem at some point. But the problem is that when you get home, obviously you've used some of the juice because you've been out in the car with it for maybe half an hour. And by the way, if you're trying to use it in the car and you're trying to use it to keep the coffee at the temperature you want it to be, you're going to get 20 to 30 minutes out of it tops, and then it's going to be dead. So they don't have a car charger for it yet, and I don't know how they're going to do that because of the whole way that it charges, unless they come up with some kind of inductive system. But they have told me that that's not even going to happen anytime soon. But going back to the problem at hand here, which is you get home and you put it back on the charging base. Well, now it's not going to charge. It's going to maintain the temperature, but it's not going to charge the battery. It doesn't do two things at once. It can't charge and maintain the temperature at the same time. So inevitably what that means is the minute you get away from this too far, you're SOL. That's problem number one. So, and that's to me a big problem because if I like to drink my hot coffee in the car and keep it at the temperature I want it to be. And you can't do that with the Ember mug. And to me, that's a gigantic downside for $150 to $200 for a coffee mug. Now, the other problem that I'm running into, which I'm sure some of you are going to have, is this. We're going to change to the other room. So if you're one of those people that like to make a pot of coffee, okay, and then later on like to pour it from your coffee carafe, is that how it's said? You want to pour it from here to here, and this is still hot, you're good. But if it's not still hot and it's cooled down, you have to come up with some way to heat the coffee before it goes into here. Because heating the coffee with this device will really draw the battery down fast. You want to make sure you put your coffee in hot. So you got to put the coffee from here to here, but you can't put this in the microwave. So what do? You have to come up with some kind of another device to be able to heat it from here to the microwave to the coffee, to the Ember. So I've tried many different ways. Obviously the biggest fail is when you try to use another coffee mug, because when you try to pour a coffee mug into the Ember, of course, it makes a freaking mess. So what we did is this. We went ahead and got ourselves a Pyrex measuring cup, because you can pour the coffee from there to the Pyrex, put it in the microwave, and then pour it from the Pyrex into this. And that even sounds like a good idea, but if you pour your Pyrex hot coffee into this too fast, then, you're going to make another mess. So better make sure you do it over the sink, especially if you're at work. So, that's kind of an inconvenience, but still, I'll give the Ember mug the thoughts that it works well to keep the coffee hot as long as you're not too far away from where it's charging. While we've been sitting here talking, the coffee mug has kept it at 138 degrees, which is great. But I absolutely guarantee you that the battery is just about dead. And trust me, by the time this video clip is over, the battery will be dead, and this thing will have to go back on the charger base, and it'll just barely keep it warm. So I kind of call that an epic fail. I think a lot of us are going to want to take your Ember mug, and you're going to want to put the hot coffee in it. You're going to make a fresh pot of coffee. You're going to pour it in here. You're going to go get in the car, and you're going to go to work. And you're going to want to keep your hot coffee hot all day. Well, you're SOL if you're going to want to use it in the car. Not going to happen. Just not going to happen. And you better have more than one charging base, which means the first thing you're going to want to do if you order an Ember mug is order a second charging base, one for home, one for work. And until they come up with a way to heat it in the car, I think that this is kind of an epic fail for this company. The last kind of gripe I have is this opening and closing container. When it's closed, it's great. I will tell you that with the lid tight, hold on. I will tell you that with the lid tight, if it spills, okay, if you accidentally, knock this over in the car, it's not going to leak, which is great. That's a great feature. One of the best features I like about the Ember. But what I don't like about it is you got to keep it closed to keep the heat in. So which means every time you want to sip on it, you got to open this. And you notice what happened when I pushed down on that? You see all of the coffee that came flying out of it? Plus, not to mention the fact that how clean are your fingers all day? So that means you got to open and close this every time you want to take a sip. Most of us aren't going to do that. Most of us are going to leave this open, okay? And then we're going to wipe it off. We're going to wipe it off, and it's going to be nice and clean because obviously your fingers are not going to be clean all day long. And you're probably going to leave it open, okay, which is going to let the heat escape, which means the battery is going to work even harder to keep it warm. So what Ember tells you to do is they tell you to make sure that, you keep it closed. Okay, hold on. Let's see what the battery's at. Probably dead. Yeah, well, it's just about dead. So, they're going to tell you, keep this closed. Keep the heat in. Okay, so let's demonstrate this again. This is my biggest gripe besides the battery issue and not being able to charge in the car. So you close this, okay? Now, you go to take a sip. So I'm going to I'm going to open this. I'm going to take a sip. Nice, 138 degrees hot coffee. Now I'm going to put it down. See the coffee on the rim right there? Okay, that's kind of gross. So, we're going to do as they say. I'm going to close this. Now, I'm going to pick it up and move it. Okay. I'm going to come back to where I'm back to where I need to go, and then I'm going to open this. Did you see that now? Did you see what just happened? Did you see the coffee go flying everywhere? So, hold on. I'm going to wipe it down clean again. And before all the haters start talking about, well, you got it too full, hold on. Let's just see how full it is. Hold on. I got to pause. Okay, you notice it's got a fill line right there. This thing, ooh, wow, look at that. Yeah, it's steaming hot. That's awesome, Ember. Fantastic. I just wish you could charge it and bring it in the car. But here's my second gross complaint. Okay, it's got less than, there's less than half left. So I'm just going to put the lid back on. Okay, the lid's back on, it's half full. I'm going to do what Ember says. I'm going to, take my clean finger. Yeah, right. Did you see all that, how the coffee just came flying out of the top? That's because of this seal. So expect a coffee shower every time you open and close it. So what's my conclusion? After 10 minutes of going on and on and on about this. The Ember mug has a lot to be desired. And, you know, if you really got to have hot coffee next to you all day long, yeah, this does help. But, geez, it's just so close to being perfect. Why they didn't make it perfect to start with, one being this whole coffee shower every time you open and close it. Okay, again, I'm gonna open it. I'm gonna take a drink. I'm gonna put it down. See how gross that is. I'm gonna close it. Okay, and again, this time I'm gonna do what most people do. I'm gonna come back and just open it again. Okay, notice how gross the top is. I'm sorry. That's gonna be a problem for you people. And the second problem is going to be the fact that you can't take it in the car with you. And third, obviously, it won't charge as well as keep the temperature what you want it to be at the same time. Oh yeah, and it occasionally likes to lock up too. Yeah, right now it's locked up because the battery's dead. So, for me, yeah, I'm glad I got it. Yeah, I have the workarounds, but I wish I could use it in the car. I wish the lid wasn't so dang nasty all the time because of the design. And, you know, I wish it would charge while it had coffee in it while it was on its base. I think Ember will probably, if they don't correct these problems, I have a feeling that once these reach market and everybody else starts getting their hands on them, they're going to be in big trouble with this. And I also think that if they don't lower the price at some point, I would give this, I would probably buy another one if it was $39 or $49. That'd be a great price point. But at $150 plus $50 for another a mat that you're going to need if you're going to take it anywhere, and you know you want to have one at home and one in the office, I think that this is just a total waste of money. But most of the people who buy these, me not being one of them, don't worry about spending, you know, $150 on a coffee mug. You know, because I bought this with money that was gifted to me, I'm kind of one of those people, and I like gadgets, but I wouldn't buy another one. Too gross. Too gross for me, and just about anybody else, not to mention the fact that you can't charge it and use it in the car. Feel free to comment. You know, I know there's going to be some people going, well, you should do this, you should do that. I look forward to your suggestions because I'm going to tell you, I've tried just about everything. The Ember is epic fail.